What's up, everybody? Welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosa. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28. That's the one, the only Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, back again, buddy. It's Monday. How was the weekend?
Yeah, that was a quick weekend. I'm still trying to figure out if it even happened. I don't know what went on. It was just game into game into game. I'm back on Warzone now, so it's easy to lose a couple hours that way.
Nice. Yeah, dude, it was fast, man. There's no doubt about it. Don't forget, everybody, you can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside thegame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, we've got one heck of a show today, starting off with a bunch of Ubisoft content. Ubisoft, the good, the bad, and the delayed. Ubisoft is in hot water with the lawsuit. Not one, but two games become delayed. And what does Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, and The Division have in common? Well, a new game coming out of Ubisoft as well. All kinds of stuff. Scott, before we get started, dude, I hit up Twitter this morning for a couple questions. I'm looking for some answers, and just a thought I had, and I want to run it by you, and I want to run it by everybody, the 30 1,000 people on the one episode that caught ITG Daily. Thank you very much for watching our show. Always appreciate it and love that you guys are there watching us. The content is something we always strive for, and the fact that we get this feedback of viewership, Scott, I thought was fantastic. But I want everybody to hit us up on Twitter and the official ITG and let us know your thoughts on this question, Scott. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so here it is. Nintendo is absolutely killing it, right, with the Nintendo Switch. Handheld has become such a phenomenal thing currently, to the point where we actually see Steam get involved again now with Steam Deck. They're launching out their own version of a handheld. Here's the question. Do we see PlayStation jump back in with the Vita 2?
The Super Vita.
Oh, man, why you do that? No.
The Vita Pro. Well, if it was Sony namesaking nomenclature, it would be the Vita Plus.
Oh, there you go. But do you think they should come back now with the Vita 2?
I think it is. It's certainly more plausible than it ever has been. Switch owned the market for a very long time, so to see competition come up, I think is a very healthy thing in the form of the Steam Deck, but that definitely leaves the door open. And the way things have been going with mobile gaming and a lot of emphasis on cell phones, I think a dedicated hand console is really what most gamers want. So I think it will be a good time to do another Vita.
The only thing the Vita was initially missing was the L2 and the R2 buttons. Besides that, hit it every bell and whistle on the console, on that handheld platform. It was a phenomenal handheld to have. And the fact that they just kind of let it go out and then dissipate and disappear, unfortunately, I saw a cat in there. It was just a little unfortunate. So I want to see if they're going to come back now with the fact that everybody's getting into this whole cloud streaming thing as well, right? You saw Stadia come out. You get xCloud now as well in there with Xbox doing their thing with streaming. Here's an opportunity to allow us to stream PlayStation titles as well as maybe download them, kind of like a Game Pass scenario where we can download them to the console and go on from there. I think they could have like a hybrid, Scott. We're making PlayStation Vita 2 titles and yet still allow us to tap into the PlayStation 5 and that whole ecosystem as well. Opportunities are there, man.
Oh, I think it would be a good idea. And at this point, there's on the Steam Deck, there's actually 2 PlayStation games that you can play so far.
Right?
That would be Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn. So that's actually more than they've released on Vita in a decade.
Well, and if this whole partnership is true as well with Netflix, like there's another opportunity to bring in the streaming side, right? So it's not even their hardware they have to worry about for streaming. They could tap into the world of Netflix and the video game side of things, partner with them, and then bring that to the Vita too. Dude, I'm thinking they got to hit me up. PlayStation, look me up inside the game. Dude, make it real. Let's do it. All right, Scott, you ready to get into some Ubisoft unfortunate news? I think we're going to start off with the bad, the delayed, and then the new title coming out. You ready?
That sounds like a good order to do it in. There's a lot of Ubi.
There certainly is. It's going to take up probably most of the show today because there's a lot to talk about because the French Union files collective lawsuit against Ubisoft. French Union Solidaires Informé on Friday announced that it has filed a collective action lawsuit against Ubisoft alleging institutional sexual harassment. The union said it filed the lawsuit in a French court Thursday. It first announced its intention to file suit a year ago, as a wave of allegations were made against various senior Ubisoft leadership. It believes the publisher is guilty of putting in place, maintaining, and strengthening a system where sexual harassment is tolerated because it is more profitable for the company to keep harassers in place than to protect its employees. Scott.
Oh, what a gross scenario.
Like that is just, man, I've always loved the titles that come out of Ubisoft in one degree or another, right? Like their titles speak to me, but the disgusting mentality that is behind this makes me question the future of where this kind of lies. Hopefully, if sexual harassment should never be tolerated whatsoever. That is just, not necessary. Like we all joke around to one thing or another, but there's a certain line, Scott, that once you break that line, dude, there's no going back, and it's time to maybe get rid of some of those people.
Well, and this is a corporation, obviously. This is a place of work. So you really cannot allow that to get out of control or to continue on, because there's a lot of people that come to work every day at those locations, and it's definitely not okay that can happen. And for it to be in such a position where these people are deemed too valuable to cut loose or penalize in other ways, that's a terrible situation for everybody involved.
Absolutely. So Saltaire's Informeek here said that Yves Guillemot, named because of him being the CEO of the company, should be held responsible for all of these people at the leadership roles that should be kind of taken. You have an HR team for a reason. And they should be stepping in to validate the situation here and to rectify what's going on. Hopefully Ubisoft can figure this out sooner than later, Scott, because you want to go to work in a comfortable position knowing that things aren't going to be, misled, misinformed, or just sexually abused, because no one likes that, right? So it's just one of those things. So here's Northern Nerdcast joining us live as always. Thanks, buddy, for hanging out with us today. Do as we say, not as we do, he says. Right? It's one of those situations. It's not necessary. It's a workplace where a lot of people, especially put in this position, go to work every day wanting to create something that they are very passionate about. We are all passionate gamers here, and the fact that we love what we do, we love what we cover, and those who are in the industry to develop these games love what they're creating. But when you go to work each and every day sick to your stomach, Scott, that's not a good situation to be put in, not only for yourself, but for your mental health and all the other side effects that come down the line when you're into this kind of position, right? It's not a good thing. Figure this crap out, get these people the hell out of here, and move on. Build a good company, not something that's based off of sexual harassment, man, because it won't last, right? It's going to crumble the insides of a good company, and it only takes one or two bad people, man.
At the end of the day, this is an artistic endeavor, is what they're doing. It's not just a manual labor. Not that would excuse any of this action at all, but
sure,
it's just going to have a much earlier and profound effect on these people and on the products they create. It's just a very sensitive industry to have this issue in, and there's nothing good is going to come of it. They really, in my opinion, they really have to make somebody answer for it.
Yeah.
And whether it's Yves Guillemot or not, somebody has to take responsibility.
It's simple, man. If you're a jerk, get out. It's not when it comes to I don't know, man. It's definitely a touchy subject, but it should be taken to a serious factor when people come into work, because it's not something that anyone should have to deal with, that fear coming in. Morning, ITG Parker. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining us. Scott, let's move on to the next topic, because we're talking about Rainbow Six Extraction delayed to 2022. In October 2020, Rainbow Six Extraction, originally called Rainbow Six Quarantine, was pushed back due to COVID-19. Now, the upcoming co-op experience is getting a new release window alongside the new game by being hit one more time with another pushback. Ubisoft has confirmed that Rainbow Six Extraction is delayed till 2022. The Ubisoft Extraction team took to the studio's blog to update fans with the game's current status. The studio wants to make sure that the unique features in the game are all working the way Ubisoft intends, with the goal of delivering a near-perfect online experience for those eager to drop into the Extraction. For the full statement, our ambition with Rainbow Six Extraction is to deliver a full-fledged AAA experience that changes the way you play and think about cooperative games. With unique features like missing in action or the sprawl, every mission is set to be a tense and challenging experience in which you'll lead the elite operators of Rainbow Six in a fight against a lethal and evolving alien threat. Not a zombie for once, Scott. It's an alien. We're back into aliens now, dude. There's a transition. It's coming back.
Well, yeah, it is interesting that it's aliens, not zombies. Now we've got that going on. That would be an interesting title, though. I wouldn't be necessarily opposed. But this, I'm I'm kind of reading what they're saying, and that is that nobody wants a soured first experience. A first impression, you only have one opportunity to give a first impression, right?
Yep.
And we've seen most recently Outriders kind of stumble on that front, and that really hurt. Well, I'm sure it hurt their profit. It definitely hurt their player base.
Absolutely did.
So I'm still of the opinion that if they need more time to figure it out, they are better off to take that time. This is a little unfortunate, though, in the case of Ubisoft and Rainbow Six being the subject of this one. I thought they would have had this one hammered out, you know.
No, absolutely. And now it's just, dude, it's pushed back to 2022. Not even a release window, just a year, right? We have no idea when it's coming. Is it just after the holidays? Are we going to see it coming in around February, March? Or are we getting pushed to a whole other next year kind of scenario with September, October rolling around? Like, how far out is this? And this is the thing here's the problem with the video game industry, Scott, is they announce release dates, release actual months, you know, the date to what we can all get hyped for and get expected when, dude, here comes The Witcher 3, right? Yes, I know exactly what day I'm picking it up. Pre-orders are already set. Now we got to push it back. This is the same situation with all of us now are kind of seeing in this industry, is that every time there's an announcement made, I don't know if you really want to believe it, because every time you get pumped up and excited for these things, right, there's two sides to it. Absolutely delay your game. I have no problems delaying your game to make it better, because like you say, Scott, you have one shot to launch this thing. And if you don't launch it right, we all seen the ramifications of what happens, especially now with social media, because it's instantly, this game sucks, this game doesn't do this game doesn't do that. So why not take the time it actually needs to make sure the polish is there? The problem is, Scott, it's all about money. And when it comes to the financial side of it, you have investors, and investors have deadlines, and you got to meet these deadlines. That's where the problem comes in, where all of a sudden it just gets sent out to the wild. But you're exactly right with Outriders. Dude, that game is a solid game. I love that game. I had a blast with that game. The connection issue, though, on the other hand, was a horrendous problem. And it still lies to be a bit of a connection problem, from what I understand, going from last gen into next gen consoles. Like, we're talking about myself and Nate from the show playing on Xbox Series X with our buddy Kyle, who's on an Xbox One X, getting disconnected from us, right? Like, that's a huge issue.
Yeah, and this isn't a difference of Xbox 360 to Xbox One, where it would be a little more understandable.
Yeah.
We're in the modern era, and the difference between a Series X and S and an Xbox One, it just doesn't seem to be that vast.
You wouldn't think so. You think it'd be more
complex kind of issues.
No, exactly. I think you expect more complications trying to go cross-platform with Xbox and PlayStation, trying to play nice with each other, right? That's where you think there'd be more of a hiccup. But when you go from one last-gen platform to the next-gen platform, you wouldn't expect that to be easy or that difficult. But again, we're not game developers. We don't know squat when it comes to developing games. We just sit on the outside and talk about them. But it still kind of makes me question. It's still in the same ecosystem, but how different is the architecture then, Scott, from one platform to the next, even within the same family of the consoles?
Yeah, it's hard for us to understand, but it's just unfortunate that there's delay after delay.
Well, let's keep going with the delay, Scott, because now we got an update on Riders Republic, which is seeing its delay, not by very long, though, so it's not so bad as it is when it comes to Rainbow Six Extraction. But here's what the team took to their blog to say: we can't wait for you all to hit the Republic in our upcoming beta. This will be the first time you get to go hands-on in this massive multiplayer playground, and we are looking forward to hearing what you think. To ensure we can deliver the best game for all players, we've made the tough decision to delay our release date from September 2nd to October 28th. This will give us more time to fine-tune the experience and give you another chance to jump in before launch and provide feedback. We'll have more to share soon, so stay tuned. Not too long, Scott.
No, just a almost 2 month delay.
Almost.
That's not extreme. That's not major, but maybe this is something to do with the logistic capability of getting all these players online. Perhaps they're looking at more servers. I really don't understand what the issue is, but it's something to just cushion that launch window.
Well, I think that's what it is, right? Let's do the stress test. And because they weren't able to maybe do it sooner, they want to be able to take the feedback and the stress test on the servers to see if they have enough of what it takes to keep those servers functioning the way they should be. Because again, like, let's take a look at Outriders, Scott. You have server issues, you're going to have the feedback of everybody going, I can't connect. So then why play? Because this game is huge. Dude, there's so much to do in this game. Like, I can't wait personally for this game. I think it looks awesome. And the fact that we'll all be able to jump in and hang out and have a great time, I think is fantastic. But you got to be able to do that. And if you can't connect with everybody, is it cross-play, Scott? Do you know? Or is it just...
I'm not certain, actually. I don't know if I've heard either way.
I'm checking right now. Stay with me for a second, everybody.
But this I am excited for this title, though. This looks like, I want to call it Steep, but the summer games of Steep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of idea where you're just hanging out and you're traversing this giant world, and you can trek through it if you prefer, but it does seem like the scope of the game is quite large. So I'm expecting a little bit of hiccups, and maybe that's just what this delay is about.
Yep. It says it is cross-play. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, and Stadia players across platforms will be able to compete against one another. There you go. So again, right, getting back to the fact that these servers need to be tested on all platforms. On the beta test, are we going to be able to go in cross-platform with everybody? I think that's what they really need to push. If you can play on Stadia and then you can go to your Xbox and meet your friends on PlayStation, that's where the real power and truth is going to come in, whether or not this game works or functions, right?
Yeah, there's probably a lot of like unforeseeable things when they start mingling the different consoles. That's probably what they're allowing this window to stress test. That would make a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Northern Nerdcast speaks up. He says, Outriders is fixed. Outriders for me is like Avengers for you, Drew. Nothing want me to go back. Oh, that hurts, dude. That really hurts. But I have War of Wakanda coming up, so I got something to go back in my Avengers, so you can just sit on your Outriders right now.
See, they say the same thing about Cyberpunk. But at this point, word spreads like wildfire. At this point, I'm just waiting for Cyberpunk 78. Yeah.
Cyberpunk 720. Yeah, we'll see. But a delay again, that one's not too far out, so I can hold back another 2 months. It's the Extraction one where we just don't know what's going on. So like Nate says in our Twitch channel, it says, they seem to lack confidence then in that case, right? If you don't even have a launch window now. But again, going back to the fact, if you actually say, well, here is our launch window, and then you have to delay that again, it's easier just to say 2022 than it is to go, okay, no, it's coming in March. No, we're going to push it to June. No, we're going to go to, like, just keep snowballing back and back and back. Just give it to us when it's ready.
Yeah.
Right?
No, if you don't want to stumble multiple times about the release date unless you're dealing with a project like Halo. Halo Infinite, I believe, has been pushed twice at least, and then the third time they just did not give a date. Yeah. And I think they're the only ones that can really get away with doing that twice.
Dude, Last of Us Part 2 did the same thing. They had a release window, delayed it. They announced another window, delayed it, and then it finally released, right? But I'm okay with delays because they need to be a good game instead of a crappy game. Because you say, the minute you put it in and it's busted, you're not going to go back. Because unfortunately, as much as they say Cyberpunk is fixed, I'm done. Like, I'm just done. I've checked out. And I know a lot of people are waiting to go back. And I think that's a good thing for the company. But at the same time, it's so tainted when you've been so soured and off-put in the first place that you don't want to come back. Scott, you ready to get into the fourth topic of the show now that it's all over?
Yes.
Man, I had no... Wow, this has been a good show, buddy. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This has been a blast. Okay, let's get into more. Ubisoft says it will reveal a brand new Tom Clancy game today. Scott, you ready for this? Ubisoft will reveal a brand new game set in the Tom Clancy universe Monday, July 19th. It's announced at 2 p.m. Eastern for the worldwide reveal of a brand new game in the Tom Clancy's universe, the publisher said on Sunday, just yesterday. The game could potentially be the new multiplayer PvP title codenamed Battlecat, which leaked on social media last month, which is rumored to be a first-person shooter targeting console and PC, which is currently in the early stages of development. Scott, this is the one that combines Splinter Cell, rest in peace Sam Fisher, Ghost Recon, and The Division, right? Each giving us classes from those specific games, combining it into one first-person shooter. So Ubisoft also recently has said that it's planning to release high-quality free-to-play games across all of our biggest franchises, across all platforms. Although it later said that does not mean it will release less premium games. In May, the publisher announced Heartland, a separate free-to-play title, the Vision spin-off, described as a standalone experience that will provide an all-new perspective in the universe in a new setting. So will we see this? Okay, it's in early stages, Scott, which tells me we're not seeing this anytime soon, dude. We're gonna be 4 years out, if I had to guess, early at seeing anything. We're just getting into new gen consoles. I think this is where they're kind of set this target for, and that's where we're gonna see it, is in obviously the next generation. But I think we're gonna be
so
a ways
far
away.
away. That's so far away that it is nice to have some sort of a teaser. They're officially touching on this perhaps today.
Yeah.
And we know it's coming down the line. Third echelon, there's not a whole lot of characters to play, but I'm excited to get back into that, see that world and how it mingles with the Division. I am excited about this one, but how many games do you think Sam Fisher has yet to appear on? How long until Sam Fisher in MK?
Okay, here's what's gonna happen, Scott. All right, you ready? So, if those of you who don't know, I have tattoos. I have a video game tattoo here, and I got a koi fish here. Splinter Cell gets announced, it's my next tattoo. All right, I'm just saying, this is what's gonna happen. That's what the new Splinter Cell, new tattoo. That's what I'm waiting for. Bring it to me, Ubisoft. I waited long enough. Northern Nerdcast says, "Womp womp." We want a continuation, not a new IP that Tom Clancy has nothing to do with. Right? That's exactly it. I want Splinter Cell. So many of us want Splinter Cell. You saw this news hit yesterday, and everybody went to Splinter Cell for like a thumbnail, including ourselves, because we're huge fans of the series, but yet have yet to see anything, especially even last gen consoles and stuff. It's incredible that they're going to do is take a bit from here and a bit from there and a bit from there. We've talked about this in the past as well, Scott, is that you take from all these great games and take the bits you like and make a fantastic game. It might work, man.
It might. I'm hopeful. I'm still holding hope.
I'm still holding hope too, Scott, but dude, that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for going on this journey with us today for the Ubisoft rant. It's been quite a show. I can't believe it's over already. I still have a lot to talk about, Scott, but we are out of time. So everybody, this has been ITG Daily. Thank you for hanging out with us. Again, you can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as YouTube. And if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, you can find him on Twitter at Tuss Savage. You can find me on Twitter at the Artistic Gamer 28, and you can find all of us at the official ITG. Until tomorrow, everybody, we'll see you inside the game.